Hello. How you guys doing? Ahmad Tharwat again. Ahmad ranting. Uh, I keep changing the name of my podcast and Notes of America, which I've been going with YouTube channel, my blog, and all of that. And it's still a generic name, and a lot of other podcasts have the same name. So I'm gonna go back to Ahmedia, and it's two parts. Ahmed, that's my name, and media, involved in media, but also it works on media. This is a word that, especially in Egypt, they say it when they really protest or. I think it started historically from Ana Hor, when during the British occupation of Egypt, and they were heavy-handed on people who speak out and against the occupation, or so people start saying Ana Hor, I can say whatever I want, but that doesn't take them very far, and they get arrested and put on trial for subversion or all of that. So Egyptians are very clever of how they kind of have their own language, code, jokes, whatever. So Anahor became Aha, and also through the culture filter and street culture, Aha becomes a common or synonymous of protest or kind of, lately it's been used or popularized by the interview that comedian Egyptian Bassem Yusuf had with this clown there from England, Morgan, and he used that word, and it really kind of fire up a conversation on social media. So Media or Ahmedia, that will be the name of the podcast for now. Today, my podcast will be about still what's going on in Gaza. It's over 15,000 Palestinians have been dead, killed by the invasion and bombing and all of that. Half of them almost are children, and it's all along since the invasion, the propaganda war machine tried to convince the world that Hamas is evil and they are after Hamas, and most of the people are killed are civilian or people living in Gaza, Palestinians. And there is still a war going on in West Bank, and the Israelis, and with the support of Western media, they want to separate both of them, as if Israel waging two different wars, one in Gaza and one in West Bank, and one in Hezbollah in southern, and it's all the same. It's all resistant movement against occupation and the atrocity committed in Gaza. So it is the same war, it is the same atrocity. But anyway, the Israelis military establishment, the IDF, try to convince the world that they are going after, especially now the war is just now reduced to war on El Shifa hospital, bombing him for weeks, and claiming that Hamas militants are using this hospital as a military base. And after taking over the hospital, showing tunnels and videos of Hamas militant running in a hole with injuries, as if Hamas brought some injuries to the hospital. It is a proof that that is being used for a war operation. Of course, this is not really working out because this video are not verified, and although the American buying into the narrative, of the Zionist movement, supporting them and repeating that narrative, the social media mocking those videos and compare it to what Geraldo Rivera in 86, when on a national television special promising to reveal the secret hidden of Al Capone's, which finally couldn't find anything. And I think that kind of ended his career as a media clown or a media propagandist. But the tunnel, propaganda machine report was saying that this tunnel actually was built by the Israelis in the 80s during, was a development project. And matter of fact, the Israelis hire a few of Hamas's members to guard that hospital. And as you know, Hamas was an Israeli creation to kind of cancel or to counter the more secular groups, Palestinian group, the PLO. So it's really history can tell us a lot about what is going on, and everything has a history for it. And this was reported by an Israeli's TV channel, Channel 12, and Hertz, and they Hertz has a report that the Palestinian or fighter or Hamas fighters, they didn't know anything about the town. I mean, when they attacked on October 7, they didn't know anything about the musical festival that has about 4,000 Israelis, and that was a surprise for them once they crossed the security lines. And Hertz claimed that when the Israeli military helicopter came, they started bombing, and most of the killing in that festival was by the bombing of coming from the Israelis military. So it's not all clear what was going on, and so the more we see, as Sartre once says, the more in detail to see the victory, the details of victory, what you end up is nothing but defeat. So the IDF know if they can convince the world that the Hamas are evil and the Hamas were under the tunnels and using the hospital, they justify them of they're killing babies, and this is they can justify the killing of the Palestinian and the killing and the invasion and all of this. And as we all know, the first casualty of war is the truth. And we all remember on October 10th, 1990, when a young Kuwaiti girl, her name, 15 years old Kuwaiti girl, Nayirah, Nayrah, I don't know, Nirana, I don't know what that been, Arabic name Nirana or whatever been, that's how the spelling, stood in the front of or before Congressional Human Rights Caucus, testifying of the Iraqi soldiers are stealing incubator and left the baby on the cold floor. And there was a major testimonial or investigation by the Congress, and the chairman of the Congress group, Tom Lantos, I think, from Democrats, California, and John Edward Porter from Illinois, Republican, explained that that Kuwaiti girl's identity would be kept secret to protect her family from reprisal in an occupied Kuwait. But we found out later that she was the daughter of Kuwaiti ambassador to the United States, Saud Nasser Sabah, and she was coached by the by public relation firm, American public relation firm, Hill and Knowlton, which worked for the Kuwaiti government. Later, President George Bush told the American people they had kids in incubator and they were thrown out of the incubator so the Kuwaiti could be systematically dismantled. Of course, this is also reminding us of Hamas militant beheading babies. All this when they all started when the October 7 attack, and the Biden actually himself adapted that narrative, which was later proved is false, falsifies, and the White House has to retract this story. So lying and deceit, it's really part of the war propaganda machine. The incubators in Kuwaiti city stolen by the Iraqi soldier. Later on, that was Bush, the father, in 1990. His son did the same thing about the mushroom and weapon of mass destruction, lies, and they know they were lying. And his Secretary of State, Colin Powell, made a passionate presentation to United Nations Secretary Council, claiming that Saddam Hussein was developing weapon of mass destruction. The biological weapon anthrax could be delivered against Iraq neighbor or the U.S. by an unmanned aerial vehicle, he claimed. And he was holding something in his hand. We all remember that. I have no idea until today what was holding, what Colin Powell was holding in his hand, showing the evidence. So it's ridiculous that how the propaganda war machine use lies and deceits to justify the unjustifiable, and to convince us and to convince the people that are not really paying that much attention, and we fall into it all the time. We are fighting terrorism, we are fighting Hamas, we are fighting war on whatever, and this propaganda machine and those under the rubrics of those headlines, there's nothing like fighting enemy that kills babies. That does it all the time. That does it all the time, and everybody rally behind this propaganda, rally behind Bush invasion, the father and the son, rally behind Obama's claims of terrorism and use drones killing civilian, killing innocent people without due process, so wait to be seen. There is a ceasefire that was launched yesterday or this morning, so you can people can offer human assistance and help. The reality of Gaza and Palestinians, it is devastating. Millions of people are moving from north, south. They've been even bombed, and in the only freeway between the two sides of the city. It's almost like the highway of death. The Americans slaughtered hundreds of thousands of Iraqi soldiers or retreated Iraqi soldiers after the invasion. So it is a vicious, monstrous war, and the reaction of the Israelis is the same as the reaction of the Americans after 9/11. It's overkill, it's devastating, and using technology or the industrial killing machine with the rationale. This is what Western civilization is always offering us, from Nazism to slavery to Hiroshima, Nagasaki's bombing, using technology wrapped up of some rationale and convince and justify the killing and the invasion. Someone says the first casualty of war is the truth. This is Ahmed Sarwat here, and this is November 22nd, and this is probably 8th my episodes in the last few days. I'm trying to keep up with events going on, and we'll keep waking people up and keeping, digging in and kind of being a nuisance to privilege, establishment, and the killing war machine. We'll see you in the next episode. Please don't forget to subscribe and share and give us feedback. And if you still have more energy, if you like what we do, support us. That will be great, so we can keep on doing this. So it's all 17 minutes. That's about right. So we'll see you next time.